In the presidential elections, American people do not vote directly. Instead, they choose electors or representatives who actually cast the vote on their behalf for the president. So how is this electoral college formed? How does the voting take place? And how is the president eventually elected? Here is a detailed step-by-step outlook on the US electoral process. My name is Shujaul Haq. There are 538 electors in total, and these are distributed among all 50 states and Washington, D.C., the minimum being 3. So how do these electors come into the picture? Generally, the parties nominate these electors at the state conventions. Some are also voted at the party's central conventions. On the actual polling day, a voter marks the choice by filling in ovals given in the ballot paper. Ballot paper generally will have the names of presidential and vice presidential candidates. A glimpse of an early polling station in New York gives us insight into how this happens.
The voter comes into the poll site. People at our information desk direct them forward. We have people, line managers here who direct people, and we actually have arrows on the floor because we've had such high volumes, okay? And then the line manager will direct. There are ballot stations over there. There are 6 ballot stations.
So those 1, 2, 3, those
yes,
towers?
They're on top of the towers. They have poll pads, which has so you go, you say, the voter gives their address and their name, and the ballot, the inspector checks them in, okay, and by address and name.
I'm sorry, but you don't need any identity verification or any credentials? Right?
No, you do not need any ID card. New York State is a signature state, so the voter's name comes up, and if they're not registered, it won't come up. Okay, and then they sign in. They sign the register. They sign electronically. You have to ask and then it automatically prints out a ballot for them, okay? And they hand the ballot to the voter in a privacy shield. We can't look at their ballot. It's private.
What does the ballot have? The names of the candidates?
Yes, and they're candidates for the various races, because they're statewide races, local races, and then you turn it over, and there are issues on which we vote yes or no.
Questions, separate questions.
Yes, that pertain to the city. And then they get online for a privacy booth. Okay. And right now there are empty booths, but a lot of times they're all taken. And they just go in there, there's a light, and they can lay their ballot down and fill out and take as long as they want to read or to fill out. They're like circles, like multiple choice tests. You just fill in the circle for the candidate of your choice. When they're done, they come back and they get online here to go to the scanners.
So these are the scanners?
Yes.
These are the scanners?
Yes. And very, very easy. My people direct them to the next available scanner, and the voter slides their ballot into the scanner, and then the scanner will tell them, there'll be a little clock that turns around, and it will say voting.
In the United States, voting is done through the physical ballot papers. However, their counting in most jurisdictions is done electronically, with ballots being scanned through optical scanners that read and tabulate votes. Results are transferred via memory drives to a central election management system or board of elections in each state for final tallying.
We petitioned the city council, got money for tablet devices to be at each poll site. So now when the polls close, they take the unofficial results stick out of the machine and place it into a tablet, and those are uploaded directly to us. And so on election night, when the polls close, and we start to report results shortly after 9 o'clock, in that in those vote totals, you will have all of the early voting totals, all of the absentee and early mail ballot totals that were processed up to the Friday before Election Day. And then in that first data dump, you'll also have any of the poll sites that shut their machines down and upload it. And then they'll continue to upload the results, and the results will be updated on a 5-minute refresh.
Counting of votes begins on the election night immediately after the polls close at 6 p.m. The United States electoral system is highly decentralized, with each state running its own elections. Since there is no single government agency that tallies results and declares winner, news agencies like Associated Press and other outlets call states based on Electoral College projections. Final calls may take days in close races. The states, however, must complete the final certification by December 11. On December 17th, all 538 electors meet in their respective states to cast separate ballots for president and vice president. Most states use a winner-take-all system where the candidate who wins the state's maximum votes receives all of that state's electoral votes. So once a presidential candidate gets the maximum number of votes in a state, his or her party's proposed electors become part of the Electoral College that would cast votes to choose the President of the United States of America. The proposed electors of the losing candidate are simply not appointed or certified. The only exceptions are two states, Maine and Nebraska. They use a unique congressional district method that splits electoral votes. This system can result in a candidate winning the presidency without winning the national popular vote. In 2020, Nebraska's 2nd district voted for Biden, while the rest of the state went Republican. Can an elector go against the state's popular vote? Technically, yes. However, many states have brought in laws that stop an elector from doing so. And those who still go ahead and vote against the state's popular vote are called faithless electors, and states can penalize them for their acts. On December 25th, all the electoral certificates must be delivered to the President of the Senate, and Congress finally counts the electoral votes on January 6th. A candidate needs at least 270 votes to win the race to the White House.